Oh, maybe there's John.
More together.
What's up?
Oh yeah, well, we're live on. Welcome to COZSNUG. Thank you so much, John, for inviting us over to your house to do this tonight.
We got to explain COZSNUG a little tiny bit just so that everybody knows why the weird word. That's like so awesome. Should we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Just so we put cozy and snug together, made one word because we were tired of seeing that it was only like the Germans and the Danes. That was like a universal, like a, hey, when we say this word, it means just make yourself cozy toward other people as well as toward yourself. And so we made up this word so it can now be a universal word. And we passed it through AI to say, hey, we want to know if this is going to be, we want a word that's universally easy to say for everybody. And so this is the very best that we came up with. We had a lot of selections, and this was the one that won. So now we have this word, COZSNUG. And we soften the ZS and make the Z sound, and we'll tell you more about that, a little surprise later. But COZSNUG, so it's this whole concept that we can actually become a relatable thing. Welcoming connection. COZSNUG means welcoming connection. So.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing with COZSNUG. We've been doing it every Thursday night for quite how long have we been doing this now?
A while now.
A while, over 6 months.
It's nice. Getting together, sometimes the groups are up to
8, up to maybe 12, 12 to 16. We had some really good groups, but what we've been doing, we just kind of get together and we've just been talking about life. We've been having topics that we've talked about. We've asked each other questions.
Initially started as questions to empower our empathy.
Yeah. Earlier today, Ken, John, and I were talking about a good topic tonight. We were thinking about talking about the manifestation and the skills that around that. That's a really hot topic nowadays. Honestly, I think it could be a great topic. I think to talk about because I think talking about that. I think in the conversations I've had with all of you, I think you'd all be interested to have had some kind of experience and skill in that.
So, how do we want to start this out? We've done it before where we started out by saying like, hey, so like some of the other questions that we've asked ourselves were, like, what's something that you've been proud of? And we're practicing our active listening skills, trying to empower our own abilities to be relatable. And so, and we've gone through like what bigger challenges we've gone through and stuff. And we've gone through like all these, like sometimes we'll have these really high nights where we're all like vibing on like so proud of each other's accomplishments. And then sometimes we're like way down deep in like a what? You went through that. So I don't want to like try to manufacture any kind of it. We just want it to be organic and whatever it is. But we just want to come together and say, hey, we're getting together and we're saying, hey, we're willing to have conversations about what it means to empower ourselves toward a more empathetic way of relating towards other people. To empower our empathy. And so for us to become a COZSNUG thing. So by asking this question of how do we manifest, this is like the epitome of what we're doing right now. We're manifesting this whole world right before us, and so we're saying, hey, this conversation matters, at least to us, enough that we're willing to have the conversation because we feel like we deserve it now. What do we think about manifesting?
I mean, we were just
John has
a great conversation over there, and I was like, we gotta add to it, because it's just like getting to know someone outside of ourselves, like being able to have those experiences, which is so powerful. Ken's talking a lot about just that experience that every person is so unique, outside of ourselves, it's out of our own field of experience, and to be able to see that as an extension, no matter what it is, whether it's the most loving and kind person, or whether it's someone that's wanting to attack, and make your life miserable, and to see that outside of yourself, not a direct inward thing, but to show love and empathy in a moment like that is sometimes very difficult. And I don't know, it just seems like even just this whole day has been okay, let's see.
You've been
Let's see what
practicing that a lot lately.
let's see what truth that you think you know. Let's see it, and let's. You think you know kung fu? You know, show me. You know, and I always like when I think I've come to a truth or I think I've figured out. It's like, okay, show me, because you don't really understand something until you get through it. You know, and really had someone challenge you. And like you're in the most peaceful moment, and you're walking your dog, and some guy gets pissed at you about your dog, you know, not being on the leash or doing, you know, and it just, you can feel that vibrational change, you know, and be able to say, this isn't a personal attack on me. Like, I can tell you've got a lot to deal with, and you're trying to project your anger, your frustrations on me, and seeing outside of that has been one of the most helpful things that I've done today. So that is, I mean, it's a huge part of it, like a huge part of what come to terms that's all extensions of ourselves, you know. But then at the same time, we have our unique way of seeing our own world, and we're, it's like this beautiful kind of circle of saying, here I am, but here we are, and I'm going to project outside, you know, of my experience in a universal way. And it makes you treat people way different, you know, makes you want to, you know, go outside and you know, serve and do things you normally wouldn't do, because it's all about me and my needs. And once you get that centered and you're taking care of yourself, then it becomes the we thing. That's what I love.
So beautiful.
Your turn.
John, you're really good at that. The very things you're talking about. I know I tell you this before, but I'm like, I am really impressed with your ability to be that thing, where you truly can walk around during the day and say, I can be more than just me. You know, a whole gaggle of kids around you, and you're able to say, and I just watch you navigate that, and I am very impressed with your ability to be a we instead of a me. It's like a hard.
And to take compliments is a very hard thing sometimes, but I've learned to accept it as a gift. Thank you. You know?
Thank you. That was a nice thing to say.
Yeah.
Now we're both lifted up.
Yeah. Because it is like.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, not me.
Yeah. Well, I've always had a hard time with that, because I grew up with, like, my mom was always saying kind things, you know? There was always words of affirmation. It was like, and I almost walled it off. I'm like, I don't want to hear.
Mom, of course you're going to say that.
Yeah, Mom, you know, I'm so proud of you. I'll sit and talk with you. I don't want you to tell me about me, you know? And so I've always had a hard time with compliments, because it's kind of self-directed towards me, but I realized in that it's like, when someone does go out of their way to say something kind, it's really a gift. And if you don't accept it, kind of like denying them. So it's like, when people even want to be like, hey, I want to give you $20, you know, like, nope, I'm not going to take any money. Like, well, that's their way of saying thank you. And so accept it with appreciation and use that money to go give it to someone else, you know? And accept it as a gift and appreciate it. And don't deny that person of being kind and caring and wanting to give back, you know? That's one thing I've been working on lately, is trying to accept, you know, being open to that and being able to really see the kindness that other people are willing to give, you know.
It's fascinating. It's like they all have their own little special magical way of gifting you something.
Yeah.
You just have to really just become increasingly sensitive to some new sensation.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk more about this whole manifestation topic. What do you guys think? Should we dive into the this topic? Because this is a really intensive topic.
Sure.
It's right at the heart of it now.
I'm going to start off, since we're going to talk about manifestation, I think the most important thing to even branch off into is intention. I think to even begin to manifest whatever you want, however you interpret it, you have to decide not only what you want, but why you want it and how you want to get there. So it's like all of these things come together to form your intention. And once you place your intention, you can almost send your intention, not just let it go, and then start just allowing yourself to react, or not react, but allow those things. Because once you set the intention, you're going to start looking out for those things. It's that one effect where like you learn about a new car and then you start seeing it places. That same thing. It's like once you set out to do the thing, you'll start seeing the path of how to get there.
Yeah, beautiful. Ash. What is some cool stuff that people have been manifesting in their lives?
This right here.
Obviously manifesting
Right?
this.
Yeah.
What a
You
great,
can do anything
great
you want.
opportunity, just for talking every day and, be in a situation, I think more than love, people want to be connected, and so, if I was to really break down manifestation in my life, it's, first of all, I've come to terms that I have to resonate like truth. It's like I can't just speak it. I have to be it. Be whatever I want. If I want love in my life, I have to be love.
Right.
You have to believe it, like what Ashton, what you were talking about, when you learn about something and you want, you start noticing it. It's like you have to. Okay, for example, I got this from a podcast, not my own original thought, but if you're looking for affirmations of okay, everything goes good in my life. But if you don't really truly believe that, if you're like, well, this bad thing happened, and this bad thing happened, and this bad, you can find the evidence of the bad, but the flip is, to get yourself to really believe it, anytime little things happen that are good, you're like, oh, there's a good thing. And then you start collecting those evidences. And then when you start saying, everything goes my way, because now you're looking for all of the things that go your way, and then everything starts going your way.
It's sometimes scary in the beginning though, because you're like, what if I was to say that out loud? Everything goes my way. Wait, I'm not used to saying that. Everything goes my way. Wait,
and
not
is that
my
arrogant
world.
to say that? Is that
arrogant?
deluded?
Am I delusional? Yeah.
And do I even believe it?
It helps.
Right.
Well, it helps program even those bad things. You then can see those as, oh, this is why this happened, and that's how come it was so good
And it's
for me.
caring
You're seeing,
for my good.
you're
Yeah,
changing
all of
your
those
thoughts
things.
on it.
Yeah, totally.
Getting a flat tire.
Yeah.
Well, then
Got that.
readjust. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, it really is being able to see that even though it's not going the way you might have planned, it's still going in a direction that
For you.
and it's 100% on how you want to approach it. 'Cause there's not hot and cold, there's no good or bad. It's either high vibration or low vibration. It's how you perceive it.
Yeah.
Right. And those people you want to be around are attracted to that. If that's what you're looking for. You attract those type of people as well.
So much of how you see the world is what you believe. Atheists won't see a demon because they don't believe in it. So it's like, you manifest based on what you believe. So exactly what you were saying. It's like, if you don't believe what you're saying, you can say a phrase to yourself like, everything goes good for me. You can feel exactly how your body reacts to it. And you can try, other phrases, and it's like reprogramming your beliefs is I think one of the most important things to do on this, because if you don't even believe the possibility is possible, how could it ever come to you? You'll see it even if you won't see it even if it's around.
It's like saying I'm going to manifest $1 million when I go outside. Well, do I really believe that?
Right, right.
I don't.
I believe it's going to be $1.5 million.
Right.
What do I believe?
Or are you just gonna sit and think about it?
Yes.
Because we also, action is part of
Action is
that,
part
rather
of it.
than just, this is gonna happen without me doing anything about it.
Right.
Of course, you gotta change and stir things up
If
to
you're
make
acting that way.
things
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. The other thing is with manifestation is you believe it in that it's already happened, because all things, time and space, become irrelevant. So it's like,
You're talking some advanced language here, brother.
yeah. So
No, that's totally.
so
I know,
breaking down-
Totally
yeah,
basics. Totally basics.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
to break it down though. 'cause
Yeah, on the simple terms, it's like, you know, if I wanted something in my life, do it in a way that's already existed, and feel what it's like for that moment to already happen. Because the only difference between that moment happening or whatever you're trying to manifest is just time. So in this, I guess in this realm or whatever, like, time is relevant, but on the quantum field, it's not. It's irrelevant. So when you go into your mind and you think of an experience that you had, you've whether it's a trauma experience or a wonderful moment that you've experienced, it's the same in that moment, the quantum field. In the physical world, it's not, but it's just like it happened. You can go relive that moment. And that's what, if someone's gone through post-traumatic scenarios in their life, is because they keep experiencing the same moment over and over, like it's happening. So that's in a, going into the past field. But if you go into the future field, it's the same way. You can create moments in the future. Sometimes people are over projecting stuff in the future, fears and anxieties and all these things of stuff that haven't even existed. But it's actually like it's existing right now in that field of energy.
Right.
Because you're creating it.
So it's like understanding that, how simple that is to say, well, if that's the case, then if I want something to happen, what does it feel like when that actually happens? And so it's like creating that, the mind and the heart, and it creates a field of energy, and that's anything that's ever manifested itself has manifested itself in those terms.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Will you, I think by talking about it, it's just like you're saying, like we don't really have experience until we have all the experience that trumps all the thinking about experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're just talking about the concept, but for somebody who's never understood the fact that they're manifesting their world in front of them, they don't know that they're the captain of their own ship right now. Most of us. Most of our lives, we can relate to this. We've all been experts at this very thing, acting like life's happening to us instead of for us right now. We don't see everybody as our teacher, and every moment is potentially instructive right then. And so we haven't heightened our sensitivities to this skill of being a receptive thing instead of resistant. So we still listen to respond and react instead of listening to learn, receive. And we're still we're still graduating into increasing levels of maturity, collectively gaining more trust as we go and all that. This process of manifesting is so critical. All these words are so limiting, right? How do we talk about the concept? But here we are talking about the reality that I'm manifesting all of you right before me right now. That's what we're saying. It's kind of weird to comprehend it when you want to think that you're just an outside thing. You're actually outside of me. But when you get smart enough to know it and you see it, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I'm outside of body, space, and time, but I want to be back in body, space, and time. And then you bring back in a little additional amounts of clarity as we go, just to give ourselves enough to keep on going. And sometimes it's just to keep the ride going kind of slow, because we know so much when we're outside of body, space, and time that we want to know what it's like to have new experience and value something actually organic and new. And so we actually have this. It's currently still pretty dog eat dog, but look where it really came from.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the kind of stuff we had anymore, where we have more and more collective everything. We're blossoming, we're getting bigger and bigger, we're just emerging. And when we get down to the very, very bottom of it, we find out that we're just love, light emerging. Yeah, at the very core, we're just love emerging. And so now, how do I want to be? How do I want to be an emerging thing? Or do I want to act like I'm dead today? Or dormant, or in my cocoon, or there's nothing wrong with it. If I want to go into my cocoon today, there's nothing wrong with it at all. If I'm not a relatable thing today, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm letting go of the right and the wrong part of it, I'm letting go of the dualistic way of seeing it, the polarized, it's got to be this or that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of childish for us to just stay clinging to those ideas that we've been enamored with for our whole lives about how our story matters so much that we can't get to the point of learning to laugh at ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a night like COZSNUG, we're like trying to figure out, okay, yeah, let's remember, guys, this is all about learning how to laugh at ourselves all the way.
Right.
For starters, now we're finally beginning the relatability part. Hey, now what do we want our story to look like? We could all just decide right now in this exact moment, hey, what do we want to create? Let's co-create something brand new right now. So I guarantee with the creative energy that each one of us have, we could come up with something right now that would blow our own minds.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any Play-Doh? Do you have any, we could come up, we could make something, we could design something, we could then put the art together, we could actually tell the story on it, and it could get us any single thing we wanted if we wanted to do that. So I like the idea of us practicing a little something right now. We've gone live all kinds of times and said, hey, we're healing ourselves live on air right now. And we feel like nature favors courage. So how is the bold way to practice manifesting if you're a baby at it, like me?
Yeah.
I love what you said, John, and I've learned I would say it similar. I would say all the words are so limiting, but I would say that yes, in direct proportion to how much I increase my emotion on the intention,
Mm-hmm.
in direct proportion to that emotional feeling inside of me is how quickly in body, space, and time all that stuff comes to me.
Well, let's just talk. Let's say that you have no knowledge about manifestation whatsoever. You're just new to the concept. The first thing I really, I was reading, I think it's Goddard stuff, who talks about a lot of manifestation. He calls it the ladder experiment. I was mentioning to you just about it.
Yeah.
And it's just so simple. You think about climbing, the experience of climbing a ladder, and you just know it's going to happen. And I did this. I did the whole thing. I did the meditation. I pretended to climb a ladder, and it was like, it might have been that day. I think it was that day. Our garage light went out, and my face when I realized I had to get a ladder was wild because I was like, wow, it literally just happened. So I've done a lot of cool other experiments with neat little things. Like one time I manifested a block of wood that was that big, and I said, I'm going to see it by the end of the day. And I went out to a bar, and there was a block of wood with a yin-yang sign on it immediately. Like simple things like that. I've done a lot, I play around with bigger concepts, but I like those direct stories because it's like those really, tangible reality kind of things. They're just small, but they kind of show you how much influence you might have that you don't think you have.
I love how you're only talking about the smaller experiences.
Well, I'm purposely.
I know you are.
Experiences.
I'm just acknowledging the fact that we have all kinds of experiences where we're doing like big, huge stuff together on this, manifesting together, not just by ourselves.
Yeah,
but
but if we're going to talk to like a total beginner, totally like,
right.
What's just something that you could just totally do yourself at home that is totally that you can try yourself. I think it's easy to start out simple.
Exactly. Yes.
And then you can work on to more abstract things. You can start just thinking about success as a concept, and you can start just putting out that energy, and that's a whole different level of manifesting. But I wanted to talk about this very intentional kind of manifesting something.
Yeah.
Because you can do it in every way. You can do it in any way you want to. It's really your choice. That's really the best part about it. Oh, I wonder if that's bad.
And when it could be.
I manifested.
Yeah, that could be Jason.
It is.
It is. I can hear his voice.
Push off here.
What's up, Jay?
Yeah.
You have to maybe
Sit
sit
one
one
of
of
those.
those.
Banana chair. They're comfy.
Well, tonight, welcome. We've been having a great time talking about manifestation and intention and how to intentionally live our lives in a way that's beneficial for ourselves and everyone else around us.
I think of it a little bit as like a magnet. You know how you like if you turn a magnet the wrong way, it repels. So it'll have that energy of repelling, or if you turn it the right way, you like attract. So I was in San Diego with some friends, and on the beach, and I was like sitting right where the like waves crash onto the sand, and I kept seeing this one shell that I was like trying to grab. But when the waves would come, I would like pull it, and then I could see it again, and then it would and I just couldn't grab it, right? And I just was like trying and like giving this energy of like desperation, And instead of coming to me, it just kept like, I never did find it. And then at one point I just sat down and just kind of forgot about the shell, and I was just sitting there, and I just kind of went and scooped up a handful of whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't need that one certain shell that I was searching after, because all of them are beautiful. Like some of them are broken, and some of them are sparkly, and some of them are whatever they were. I was just like, oh, they're all just beautiful. It doesn't matter. And then I sat there longer, and before I got up, I had like 5 whole sand dollars that just came to me.
That's awesome.
I was like, I didn't even have to do anything. I have to stop searching. I have to stop the frantic energy and just sit and attract. And like you said, it's like that love and that light in people and things, and energy attracts, to itself. Like when you're saying like we're creating this, it's because we're in this energy. I know it's weird.
Yeah,
But
this is
it's
exactly what we're
That's great.
selecting to be. We're choosing to be exactly in this exact energy right now. Yeah.
So just to add to just sometimes it's from a physical standpoint, that's always easy to confirm. You know what I mean? So it's like the block of wood. The part that I've really enjoyed is the non-physical manifestations. Stuff that's beyond our physical, perception of reality. I'd love to be able to toy around with that.
So what does that mean?
So that's like
in
creating the
practice?
intentions of how I want my day to operate. And say, okay, I want to go about my day in light and love. I want to bless others. I want to have opportunities to associate with people that are going to create unique experiences in my life. And every day sometimes a little bit different. Sometimes just something a little bit outside of that. But to see that non-physical manifestations present itself is really powerful.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we want to verify everything physically. It's like, but the brain is in a dark cavity already.
Even so much so that as you're setting your intention and all that stuff, you're doing it, and I love how it's so you're setting intention for the whole day. You talk to your water.
Yeah.
You set intention. You talk to your water, and you tell your water what you want it to do for you.
Yes.
Powerful.
Right.
Because we're all we're just made up of a bunch of water and a bunch of. So now start talking to ourselves, and that's what I see in you a lot, John. Is that you're a really good example of somebody who has learned how to self-care more often than self-tear.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you're like on this upward side of the vortex where you're like, wait a minute, I seem to be serving myself and it's helping me. It seems to be helping everything, everywhere.
Yeah. But it's like money. It's like sometimes it's like, I want $1 million. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to have $1 million? That's different than having $1 million. Is it liberation? Is it the security of having $1 million? What does that feel like? because that's way more powerful than ones and zeros in your bank account. What does that feel like? So that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, that's way more powerful than the actual stack of $1 million physical bills or dollar signs in the bank account.
I think you're absolutely right. The real power in this exact topic is that non-visible stuff, that more abstract. When you wake up in the morning and you are ready to just be open to all the possibilities, you're already setting yourself up for success because you're setting yourself up. You're not closed off in any way beforehand. I think you're absolutely right.
It's like an apple. Would be another indication. Manifest an apple. Well, what good is it? What good's in it?
Right, exactly. It's like,
what does it taste like? What does it feel like to be? All of that. Really get grasping the concept of having an apple. Because by itself is
why and what is that going to do for you?
Yeah. Just having an apple. It's like, having a bunch of dollar bills or money,
Imagine if it was just so easy to just be like, oh, I just wanted to manifest, so I'm just going to manifest an apple right in front of myself right now.
Yeah.
Imagine right now you just manifest an apple right there on the edge of that.
Yeah.
There are people that I know that they can do
They
that.
could do that.
But those people, I also just know without even having the conversation that they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's this respect for what is, so much so that you're like, why would I upset and why would I interrupt so many things by simply showcasing some skill that I have?
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's hard to put into words.
Like
Yeah,
changing
exactly.
the
Like
weather.
changing weather. We very first learned how to. I'll admit this. Our buddy taught us how to manipulate the weather.
Mm-hmm.
We all meditated into it. We manipulated the weather. We did it. I did it a few times, and I was like, okay, this is. And Brandy said to me, she's like, I don't have any desire whatsoever to manipulate the weather. She said, I want the weather that it's going to be, and I want the feeling of it kind of happening to me, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I don't want
I want to be one with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I don't
Because
want
it
my
already
control over it.
has, it already
because
has
it's so much.
its own
It's already so much bigger.
who am I to say it
Yeah.
should be doing something?
And I loved learning this because
Yes.
I was so ambitious to like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to
I'm gonna have control over the weather where it's like, why? What is it that you're trying to control?
I don't
So there's like-
understand
You
even all of wilderness
But
and
now that
geography and all that, and so why would I want to invert any of what I want onto something that already knows what it's doing?
Yeah.
It knows what it's doing more than what I know what I'm doing
Right.
here on Earth. So
Yeah.
I mean, on a lot of levels. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one to sit on for a little bit, because so many times we want control
Of our environment.
so much of our life, whether it's the weather.
Or even people.
John, this is such a good example. Yes, that was an experience I just told you about. And then I had the experience of not too long ago, last week, spending 2 days up at your property and just working, hard work, my body, all this physical, yummy work. But the environment that you had created up there, you have this little like heaven on earth little setting where you got all your little kids running around making the most gleeful little kid noises, and their little kid playful energy is just like everywhere, and you're just like zinging because of the new. They're always valuing new, and you'll hear little squabbles here, and it's like any kids. But then they're vibing and leaning into constantly doing all this new stuff. I mean, I was so inspired just doing the thing I was doing. It was like when we went and we helped our friend Cam move. We're movers. And all day long we were like, we're movers, and we felt proud to be movers.
Yeah.
We were helping our buddy move, I was helping you work on your property to get it ready I was just a working man. It felt so much better than showing people some skill about how I could manifest something right now.
Right.
Now, that may sound like a cop-out. Because I don't have the skill of manifesting an apple right in front of me right now. Maybe. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't.
What experience you're wanting with all of it.
But I know a higher version of me does and can,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tap into that if I really wanted to and go have these. But it all comes back down to like, hey, what do I really want to manifest?
Mm-hmm.
And what my world is that's happening right here in front of me, it's actually happening because I'm the one who's doing it. That's hard to digest at first. That I'm the one who's actually causing the drama in front of me. I mean, whenever I would hear somebody use the word narcissist in a conversation, I always knew that I was drawing my attention to the fact that I'm still a narcissist in there. In what ways am I still being narcissistic? Because it was so clearly obvious the narcissistic behaviors in people when they're saying, and then can you believe that my ex, how narcissistic, they were the epitome of narcissism. I'm like, well, it sounds like you're identifying with your own narcissism because there's nothing outside of us, really, but it's all happening inside of me. And yeah, we just find out that we're our own little healers and we can manifest the world however we want to. So how do we want to manifest? What's the newness that we want to bring into our world here? We got a little group of friends here, just brand new people coming together. What do we want to manifest? Because the sky really is the limit. What do we want to make? What do we want to create? I don't have any kind of limiters on it or any kind of.
I like the idea of just talking more about, more the almost the abstractness of, what do we want to manifest? I want to manifest more joy and health and happiness for everyone in this room and everyone outside of this room. I feel like even just saying those words is just so perfect. It adds just this vibration into the world.
Yeah. Thank you for being that way, Ash.
When we were talking just about getting together, like a Robin a couple weeks ago, I literally could feel the energy behind it. And that made it was like it had already happened.
Nice.
And going on with Ashley, it's like I see so much hurt and so much like people just wanting to be vindictive towards each other and not processing through their pain and their sorrows in a healthy way. And that's really honestly what gives me more joy than anything is being a part of the healing process. And it's not what we were talking about, as we were explaining, we're not the healers, but sometimes people don't even know where to go or where to even start. They're so alone, they're so disconnected, and sometimes they just need someone there to talk to. And so creating those moments of just finding someone, welcoming them, simple as a hug or a smile.
And just sit and just figure out who they are.
Yeah.
And just sit and listen to each other's stories. Look at the power that comes from listening to each other's stories. You're going to find out in a second how there's some little magical something that gets gifted. Just keep paying attention, be receptive the whole time. And it's like magic every time. All of a sudden we're just increasingly related because I got one more person I just added to me instead of that I have to keep you at a distance. I have to resist you at some level. Power. Very powerful. What do we want to do with our new understanding of we can manifest anything? We can manifest apples right in front of us. Wouldn't that be cool if right here at the end we all just we all manifest the apple right in front of us?
Or someone just brings a bunch of apples.
Right.
I think that's damn cooler than if I was to create it.
We have an apple tree at our house right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're apples. They may not be edible, but they're apples.
No, they're really
No one said
tasty.
they wanted to eat them as well.
Do we want to say anything else about manifesting?
Well, I would say that any time that I've been able to manifest anything, I had a balanced perspective on everything. I didn't try to be more positive or more negative. I just tried to have that balance is the only word I can. Neutrality, balance, just that, because in my own experiences, I've noticed that if I am too far on one of the polarities, when things start to happen, it'll just go to the other polarity like a pendulum does. And that's exhausting. It really is. And so when I learn to balance my perspective on it all and just kind of put my faith in the universe. Okay, I've put my intent out there. I'm not really going to focus on it, but I do need to put a little bit of effort into it and a little bit of action to make it happen. So in my own experience, when I've done that, it's always been good. If I've maintained that balanced perspective and just had that faith, it's always been a good manifestation. That's how you want to wake up in the morning and manifest your day. For me, I wake up and, well, today's going to be a good day. That's where I started for myself.
See, me, I manifested all this stuff like maybe like 6 years ago, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm done now. Just manifested it all like as about 6 years ago. Just kidding.
Yeah, but I thank you for sharing that, because that is powerful, because nothing manifests itself in a state of chaos. So until that pendulum is completely centered, I clear every thought. So there's no thought. It's absolutely a state of just complete centeredness before I even try to create an intention. So
I've noticed when I practice mindfulness, I have a Buddhist friend that taught me how to practice mindfulness. When I do that, my manifestations are really good. They're on point. And it's exactly what I put the intent for. So I think there is something to the having not necessarily no thoughts, but the clear intent.
Yeah,
It's
the restful state of mind.
Yeah.
State of mind of set being completely centered.
Yeah.
And focus. I think it has to have a focal point. If there is, this going on.
Well, otherwise you're not in 3D. There's no focal. You gotta be like here, engaged in some kind of living.
Kind of comes back to the flow state. That we're all, it's a lot of people, only get there sometimes when they're doing, their work, they're doing their sport or hobby or whatever. You need flow all the time. You just have to be kind of mindful. You just have to, just catching yourself when you're getting too distracted and falling out of focus. There's also nothing wrong with not focusing on one thing either, because all the time you need to have a wide perspective that isn't pinpoint, laser focused. It kind of depends on the use case.
Wilson, what are you manifesting in your world these days, Jay? Anything fun?
Going to Bear Lake this weekend. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, get some more use out of the cabin before it goes?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. It's Raspberry Days this week. So.
Raspberry Days?
Raspberry Days. It's it's
I didn't know it was this week.
yeah, it's this weekend up at Bear Lake. So.
Oh, really?
Yep. Come on up. We'll be there.
Over there, Raspberry.
You'll drive right by us.
Just got a cabin right at the top of the hill before you're dropping. Yeah, right as you're dropping down in.
Oh, really?
Where at?
Up in Garden City.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Swing by. Welcome to come
Yeah.
by. We'll be at the cabin or on the lake. So. Good too.
That water is so clear. I can't remember. I don't know if I ever had a lake experience where the water was that clear and
Yeah.
so
It's
Call it
swim.
being on the rock.
Yeah, it is.
Really? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I did not know this. Man, I see it now though, because I had a full
Yeah.
a
It's,
day out there. It was
it's gorgeous up there.
epic. And Jason manifested one of the coolest boating experiences of my entire life.
Oh, that was so.
He's driving, and all of a sudden we have these birds that are like low flying, just like in a line, and they're all like kind of right up in front of us, like they're almost like wanting to get chased. And you feel like Jason just starts like kind of chasing them. It becomes so obvious, so quick. They're loving this. he splits them in half and they break out and they come back and it's just like when we keep on, he keeps on doing like figure eights or something, weren't you?
Yeah, that was fun.
It was epic.
Yeah, they
It was
liked
like,
it. So.
it was a fun time. That's one thing that I get out of my relating with you, Jay, is that you're a constant looking for fun. You're like my son Cohen when he was growing up, always like, hey mom and dad, what are we gonna do for fun tomorrow?
Right.
Hey, what's for fun next week? Always asking us, what's gonna be for fun? Well, you were always that same kid, that same dad, and that same friend, like, hey, I'm gonna be the one who curates fun for us. Trust
Right.
me.
That's probably true.
You're good at it. You're a wizard at it. You're like big, massive energy of that. And you're all trying, and it's a really good example of what life's all about. And like little kids, a little bit more fulfilled in their minds
Right.
than a lot of the adults around them telling them, here's the appropriate way you walk through Walmart. Well, good stuff. What time is it?
Yeah, well, we're probably good to end our stream. It was great. I really appreciate everyone sharing their thoughts. That was really good conversation and advice. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anything else anybody else wants to say? We don't have to cut this short.
Yeah, we don't
I
have
mean,
to
if
cut it
there's
short.
something else we
Anything
want to
else,
say
anything
about
else?
manifesting, let's say it. Anything else?
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing.
Thanks.
Watching, we love you all. Oh, I love you all. I think you're all so beautiful.
Ashley loves you. None of the rest of us do. Someday, if you're lucky.
I try to love everybody.